to another episode of Basketball Saved My Life. I'm your host, The Easy Button, and I have a very special guest in here for y'all today, Jozsef Szendrei, a.k.a. Yo-Yo. How you doing, my
I'm
man?
doing good. Hello, everyone. How are you?
Man, I'm so happy to have this dude on the show. We met about a year ago, and from the moment we met, it was a hit. I mean, big 7'12" dude. You know, when he stands in the paint, people move out his way, and he gets me all the rebounds, and I go coast to coast.
Simple game.
Simple game. We love to keep it simple.
Yeah.
So, this is the thing, right? I come up in here, first of all, Yo, thank you for letting me use your gym, man. I wanted to
you're
come
welcome.
in here and just see the place and let the viewers out there see the place. And, you know, we have your great logo in the back. Your name is Gym Integrity. Talk about why you chose that name.
Oh, I think it's very important that above anything is how you treat other people. It's all about, common courtesy, please, thank you, being on time, making sure that you treat everybody with respect. I mean, the simple rule of that, treat others like you want to be treated. And I really appreciate what we can do for each other when it's done right. So integrity, I think, is very important in life, and sometimes I feel that we lack that. So
That's very important because, I mean, as an athlete,
Oh.
if you don't have integrity, and integrity probably means the same thing for you as it does for me, you're going to put in the work when no one's looking. And if somebody asked you, did you do 2 reps instead of 3, or did you do your actual set of reps, you're going to say yes, and you're going to have integrity, and they're going to believe what you said because you're a man of your word. So I love the fact that this gym is called Integrity, and I'm kind of sad that this is my first time seeing it, but I'm happy at the same time that I get to be here, man, straight up.
No, I think it's awesome that you got to make it, and I absolutely agree. James Dickey, he was a Texas Tech coach, and we'll get into it. He always used to say, you are who you are when no one's looking.
Absolutely. Preach.
So, yeah.
Preach. All right, Yo, so let's get into it, man. Where are you from for the people that don't know?
Yeah, so I'm from Hungary, and no, don't play the joke, are you hungry?
Are you
I've heard that, what I mean, like that.
Took it right out of my mouth.
And people still spell it the same way. I'm like, you
They
can't,
spell
why
it
would
hungry?
you? Yeah, Hungary. It's with an A. It's not spelled the same way. It's just an A.
They eliminate the A.
Yeah, they eliminated the A, and they play that joke. And if I had a dollar for every time I heard that, I'm like, yeah, okay. Or they think it's Turkey. I'm like, no, I'm from Hungary.
Yeah.
From Budapest. That's where we currently live. I was born in the Hungarian plains, per
Nice.
se. Only lived there for a year. And my dad was a pro soccer player. My mom was
Sweet.
there, and
Soccer
grew up
was my
around
first sport.
Oh, soccer, is everybody's first sport in the rest of the world other than the United States, I think. So,
Yeah, for sure.
we all played soccer.
So, boom, you were born in Hungary. So, I assume plenty of your family members still live there.
Yeah, mom and dad still live there. We talk to them every Sunday.
Nice.
We have WhatsApp, and also talk to my brother, my only younger brother. And everybody basically lives still in Hungary other than me, myself. So my wife's entire family lives here in Norman.
Nice.
So-
And is she from Hungary as well?
No, she's African American. She's from Norman, Oklahoma. She's, I think,
That's
second.
why we get along
Yeah,
so
she-
well.
She's a she's a second. I think she's second class actually at Norman North.
Nice.
Where you are at,
Yeah.
Eve. So, we live 800 yards from Norman North currently now for the last 11 years.
That's awesome.
So yeah, so she's from here.
So then how often do you visit? Or do
We
they
go every
visit
year.
you?
We go every year for about 4 to 5 weeks. It's hard
Nice.
to coordinate. Obviously, this year with the pandemic, it's not going to happen. I even had my mask ready to wear it, but we have the distance with the
Yeah,
social
we're
distance.
social
and I think,
distance.
I think so. We're playing it fair and we're playing it smart. And so we're not going to get to go this year. So we try to keep it social media. And so, but I teach my kids, I only speak to my kids in Hungarian. So I don't speak to them in English. So they're both bilingual.
Man, I dropped the ball on that because I'm Haitian. I speak
Yes, sir.
Creole. I was
Creole.
born in Haiti, but I don't speak to my kids in Creole. And it's like, my excuse, and it's not an excuse, but I guess it is now, is like, you need to first understand me in English before you can understand me in Creole, right? Because you tell them no, sit down, and they do whatever they want to do. And so, anyways, man, that's awesome. I'm glad you get to go every year, and I don't get to go to Haiti as often, so that's why I wanted to know. So, boom, soccer was clearly your first sport.
No doubt.
When
No
did
doubt.
when did you pick up basketball?
Well, we lived in Spain from 87 to 92
How
because
old
my
were you?
dad.
How old were you then?
So I was from the age of 8 till 13 when we moved to Spain. And I was actually 12 or 13 when I picked it up. And the only reason I picked it up is still a funny story, because Budućnost Podgorica, which was a huge Yugoslavian team, Podgorica, was playing a local Spanish team in the European League game. And we were at the airport the next day, happened to be there with them, and all the players were taller than my father. So I liked the fact that we're taller than my father, and I wanted to play basketball because I wanted to be taller than my father.
So how tall is your father?
He's 6'5".
Okay.
So he was a goalkeeper. He was a goalkeeper for 21 years, but they were all taller than him, and the motivation was of me becoming taller than him.
Yeah.
So I thought my logic was you gotta be taller. Then eventually that translated into
now you got to play basketball because you're tall.
Yeah, now you gotta play basketball. So yeah.
So one of the longest standing jokes are, if you're tall and you don't play basketball, people are like,
oh yeah,
you don't play no basketball.
And I play that joke too when in the elevators. I'm like, you play basketball? I'm like, no, I never did. I just play along. It's like, you should have. I'm like, well, actually, I chose ballet, but I had to drop it because I got, I played many angles of that. But
oh my gosh,
we hear that all the time. So.
I need to be around you the next time you are pulling that joke on somebody.
So. I mean, but I'll play that joke before many times. I used to have a shirt in high school when I came to the States. It says I'm 6'9", I'm Hungarian, and my feet are size 16.
Yeah.
So, just so people don't ask me the questions.
That's dope.
And I wore it around, but.
It should have said, and I don't play no basketball.
And I don't play no basketball.
That's awesome, man. Okay, so then you picked up basketball internationally. So then when did you come, how did you get to America?
So it was an exchange program. So I picked it up. I went to my father at 13. I wanted to get serious. In Europe and the rest of the world, we have clubs. We don't have high school sports. So everything is club, not related to the high school. And I was playing in a club, and then I saw just a flyer in my high school on the bulletin board said exchange student. It wasn't saying athletic exchange student, it was just exchange student. And at the time, I wanted to play basketball, and my goal was to go to the NBA. I don't know how, but I'm like, first I have to get to the States where basketball is the best in the world and learn where the mecca of basketball is. So, and it was in '96. When all that happened, when I left home, I was 17. I was going to be a junior in high school. So then you came here. You were an exchange student. Who'd you stay with, or what state did you go to? So it was I ended up in Washington State, south of Seattle, in Tumwater High School, which is in Olympia, Washington. Which Olympia is the state capital. I was in Tumwater High School. And
now you're in Oklahoma.
Yeah, well, but we'll get to that.
I can't wait to get into that.
We'll get to that. But so I was there, but there was a rule there because we both know Detlef Schrempf.
Detlef Schrempf.
He was with the Sonics at the time. The Glove, Gary Payton, Sam Perkins, Sean Kemp, and the whole squad. So because Detlef Schrempf attended Centralia High School in the state of Washington, they made a rule: first-year exchange students couldn't play varsity ball. I could only play JV, so I wasn't being recruited. So I had to reclassify myself one more year after that.
Because you can't get recruited playing
JV.
JV.
You can't get recruited playing JV. And then I came back for a senior year as an exchange student, stayed with the family. The program puts you up with the family. The first family was not a good match. They couldn't even really afford to feed me. I don't know what went wrong there. I had to find my own family. It was a rough time, meaning this is before email, cell phone. Email just came about. I didn't
Social media.
Oh, none of that. I couldn't call my parents. I'm on the other side of the world. This is 1996, and I left home. And
barely any internet.
Oh, no. I mean,
no
AOL, Netscape. Those things were around. It was snail mail. I was still writing and using calling cards at internet cafes and whatnot. So it was back.
I miss calling cards a little bit.
So I used to have, I used to have all that. And then I went to high school there, and then I found me a family, and then I played varsity basketball at Tumwater High School. That's where I played all my ball at Tumwater High. We just had my 20th high school reunion, 20-year high school reunion last year. So my wife and I went back to Seattle. Yeah, nice. It was awesome. And really liked that place. It was awesome. Memories, great place. And then I played. We got make it to the state tournament. We actually played our state tournament in the Old Kingdom, before they tore it down, where the MLB team was. And we lost to a pretty good. It was his team, but a guy named Jamal Crawford was.
My God.
Jamal was playing at Rainier Beach in Seattle at the time. And we got to play them, and they kicked their butts up and down. Yeah, they were really good. He was really good. but then we finished the highest. We won the consolation bracket, and really enjoyed my time. Really liked the state of Washington and the people, and had a great experience there. So
That's awesome. Now
Yeah.
you know you can pull that
oh yeah,
a
a
little
little higher.
closer if you want.
Oh cool, thank you.
'Cause you're leaning.
Oh, yeah.
So boom. So your senior year, you went to state. When did you start getting recruited?
I was somewhat right away in my senior year, but my minor schools because I had no stats.
Correct.
At the time I was a nobody. I'm just a 6'9", and I wasn't 6'9", 240 or 250 like now. I was a 6'9", 195.
Ooh,
Yeah,
I was 190 at 6'3" in high
yeah.
school.
So it was I was physical, but I
Yeah.
could only be so physical.
Right.
And
I can imagine because you're physical now. So
yeah. So I was pretty physical, and the weight room just gave me more physicality.
For
I
sure.
don't really fear nobody. I wouldn't take a charge of LeBron, but that's a different story. You know what I mean? And I got recruited there locally by small schools, like Seattle Pacific University, whatnot. And then there was a couple of small schools in California. For some reason, I didn't want to stay in Washington because I counted 100 days straight of rain. So it was depressing in the winter. And at the time, we
that's
also
a lot of
yeah.
rain.
At the time, we had one
Hold
of
on,
those.
time out.
Yeah,
time out.
it was like I remember it was depressing.
What
it
made
was
you start counting the rain?
because I couldn't believe that it was raining every day, and I probably was already. It was probably more than that because
You
I
just
started
started
late. I
counting
just
at
started
a certain
counting. I
point,
said,
yeah.
"I'm gonna see. Let's see if it rains," and then I want to say we had a snowstorm also that they actually made a documentary about on National Geographic where the
Okay.
power got knocked out for like 10 days. And I had one of those coaches that we still practiced, even when there was no power, no running
Right.
water, whatever, we practiced. So after that, after the recruitment, I actually visited only one school. It was the JuCo that I went to in Colorado.
Yeah.
And I can't even really tell you what they came about in the picture. But I wanted to see Colorado. I think that's where I went because I wanted to see a different part of the United States. And we went to Colorado because the host family actually was living with, had somebody who they knew, so they wanted to visit also. Colorado was completely awful. I was in the northeast parts. I was in the plains. There was no Rocky Mountains. I was in
Oh my God.
I was in Sterling, Colorado.
You didn't even get the experience.
Oh,
of
no,
the
no, no,
beauty.
no, no, no. There was one street light, one Walmart, one local. I mean, there was
Ugh.
nothing. It was one of those high security prisons outside with the barbed wire says,
Ugh.
and then you go in and it's a slaughterhouse. There's a slaughterhouse
my
there too. So it was
gosh.
one of those. But the junior college, the coach, that's my coach. I mean, to the day I had in high school, it was Brian Hunter. And then my coach in junior college was Laura Romko Trump, and that's my huge mentor. Went back, bless his heart, he R.I.P. He passed away about a year and a half ago over brain hemorrhage. I mean, he was at the local high school practice that day,
Yeah.
and then he went home and he passed away, and I got a call from him.
So, Colorado itself was terrible, but you loved the playing experience. What was the name of the school?
It was Northeastern Junior College.
Northeastern Junior
Northeastern
College.
Junior College, NJC, Region 9. We just built a new event center.
Yeah.
It was really nice, and it was a great place. I had great teammates. I still keep in touch with
Nice.
with actually 3 of them because of the funeral of our coach, ex-coach. We reconnected,
For sure.
and as we adults, we all have most of us married with kids, and we moved on in life. But there's something about those 2 years there in the middle of nowhere when there's nothing to do.
And it builds character.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, and don't do this, don't listen to me, but when we skipped class, the only thing that we did, we went to the gym, we played 1-on-1 to 7, 1s and 2s, 3 dribbles. That's what we did.
That's all you did.
There was nothing else to do. We played basketball. And I
That's
mean,
dope.
we had kids
Not the skipping part is
No,
dope,
not
but-
obviously.
But
No,
what
no,
you
no.
chose to do
No, I mean, we
was
were there.
great
No, I mean,
with your time because you could have done anything else.
we could have done anything else. It wasn't about getting in trouble. It was basketball. Basketball was really our escape there. I mean, that's what we did. We were
Right.
playing 2-on-2, 3-on-3, pickup, whatever. I mean, my junior college coach is the first coach that ever done this, that I've seen it done it ever, is instead of recording the game for film for the next day, he recorded the bench. And he wanted to see how everybody's involvement, body language, and character and how they react when they get taken out of the game is during the
That
game.
is fire.
And we watched the entire game of the bench
Wow.
to see how everybody's involved. Are they living with the game? Are they ready to play? And I remember watching that in the locker room. And so that's the things that, you learn a lot indirectly. And I mean, it was the same cafeteria. We probably had burgers 3 or 4 days out of the 5.
Right.
And it was a really small town, but still really cherish the memories and still keep in touch with people from there, actually. So,
man, that is cool. If ever I get the chance to be a high school coach or a college coach,
oh yeah,
I am definitely recording the bench because it matters.
oh for sure,
It matters. It's important that you support your teammates. It's important that you come off the court and you don't go soak and pout, and you continue to support your teammates. Guys that aren't playing, it's important that you have good body language so that when you get in the game, you're fully engaged, you're fully committed, and you are on the same page with everyone else. So that being said, that is great, man. You said 2 things already since I've known you. That's amazing. First thing you said a lot of things, but basketball related. First thing you said was a shot is a rebound for you.
yeah. A shot is a pass to me.
A shot is a pass to you for you to get the rebound. When you said that, I was like,
well, that's. I wasn't even sure. I don't know where I heard that actually. I'm sure I stole it. I always tell people like
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. I'm passing
the
the knowledge. I'm just passing it like pay it forward. Like always in the weight room of basketball, they try to reinvent the wheel. The wheel has been invented. Just adjusting the spokes here and there. But
right.
A shot as a as a rebounder, I had a rebounder mentality. Even in junior college, I averaged a double-double. I was an All-American, but that was never the goal for me. My goal wasn't to be All-American and all that, even though I broke my foot and I had endless injuries starting before I came to the States. But it was just I wanted to play basketball, and I didn't think about it. I didn't care who took the shot. I cared that we were successful as a team.
Right.
It was about us. And don't get me wrong, I was very competitive because the guy who was competing for my spot was actually my roommate, and I was starting. He wasn't. He was from Argentina. He came all the way from Argentina, from the land of fire.
So you guys both had to.
So we bombed. Oh, we brought it every day.
Man.
And then as soon as we got off the court, it was FIFA 1999. Back on the PlayStation. Yeah. So that's the only thing we could play other than actually one-on-one.
Big time.
And then so I never thought about. I don't need a pass. Just shoot the ball.
Yeah.
I'll get the rebound. Don't worry about it. Just go. And
But back then, were you still 190, 200?
I got to like 205, maybe.
205?
Maybe, that's when I kind of started lifting weights. But it was just, I don't know. I just didn't fear, and I just went for the ball. I never gave up. I really enjoy getting guys open. I didn't care. Like I can develop pick and roll and whatnot, but I mean, if you set a good screen, then you're gonna be open anyhow. The best screeners are open. And a good passer will get you the ball. And a good coach, if they don't get you the ball, the coach will get on the passer to get you the ball.
Exactly.
So it just kind of goes.
And it's a trickle-down effect from there.
Oh, for sure.
So that's the first thing you said, basketball related. I was like, man, a shot is a pass to me. That's a great mentality, and I have yet to tell that to my rebounding players, but I will. The second thing you just said was on this show just now, the coach recorded the bench the whole entire game. That's amazing to me because at the end of the day, you can scout a team, you can watch film, but, sometimes it's about what you do best. It's not about, what the other team does as much unless, whatever, right? But for the most part, it's what that team does best. And so watching film can definitely help in that department. So,
if you can have more energy than the opponent,
easily,
then that should be
that's an upper hand.
That's a non-talent dependent thing.
For sure.
Your energy level. That doesn't depend on if you're a 5-star, you're a 1-star, or you're a rock star. It doesn't matter.
Exactly. Or a rock star.
Yeah, So.
Exactly. So boom. So now you get the JuCo. You are an All-American.
Yeah, I was an honorable. Let's look in I was first team all region for sure, and I was an honorable mention because I broke my foot. In JuCo, they can't afford to keep you for the winter, so I got to go home every winter back to Hungary. And then I broke my foot playing indoor soccer. Kate soccer, of course, playing soccer. It was a Jones fracture.
Now you know you got foot issues and you went back to play soccer.
Oh yeah. But I did, and I broke my foot, so I had to sit out the rest of the season. And we still finished fifth in the country. Went to JuCo Nationals in Hutchinson, Kansas. That's what JuCo Nationals are. And
I beat Hutch once or twice.
there you go. There you go.
Yep.
I mean, Garden City, JuCo, yeah.
Yeah, JuCo life.
It's a super nice gym in Hutchinson.
Oh
You would
my
never
gosh.
think, in the middle of nowhere.
It's like a little dome.
Yeah,
I like
it's like a Division I level facility.
No doubt.
And we played there, and then the recruitment, for some reason at the time already, because I was leading the country in rebounding at all levels. I was I think averaging 15 or 16 rebounds a game.
Good Lord.
I had the first 7 spots in the region with like 27, 25 rebounds, 23, 27 was the most in the game. I had 27 rebounds and 8 points or something, and my coach was like, we lost. He said, I don't know what happened today, but I know that you can rebound, son. So, and I just and I didn't care how many, I didn't count. It wasn't trying to, it just go get the ball.
You were in the zone.
Yeah, I was just rebounding, but built a really good squad. We have 5 guys transferred to Division I from there. So that was a really good squad.
So then, speaking of Division I, what schools were recruiting you then, and how did you make your decision to go to
University of Oklahoma?
University of Oklahoma.
Yes, sir. The list was a lot. I mean, pretty much anybody and everybody.
27 rebounds and 25 rebounds.
Other than, I didn't know the recruitment process. My parents weren't here. Throughout the whole chasing my dream, what I call chasing your dream, moving to the States from 96 to 2003, actually to 2000 and between I think I lost all 4 of my grandparents, what I'm trying to say. They all passed away while I was over here chasing my dream.
Right.
And I have no regrets. Everything comes with a sacrifice, and I know they're happy that I got to chase my dream. They never got to do that because of the system we lived under in Hungary at the time.
Right.
But the recruitment process was, I just give you the final 5. I visited Louisville. They had Denny Crum, who's a Hall of Famer at the time. That's before he resigned and Rick Pitino came in.
Yeah.
It was craziness. To be honest with you, like Papa John's owner flew in his private jet to my JuCo town, and they flew me out on a private jet to Louisville, Kentucky.
Goodness.
Okay, and they flew me back first class. A limo picked me up. A limo drove me back to Sterling. Sterling to Denver International is an hour and a half.
Wow.
And then the next day, I flew to visit University of Oklahoma. This is crazy to me at the time. It's still crazy to me now. But I was down to USC. Mike Bibby was the coach. If you remember, USC was...
Mike Bibby?
Yeah, well, Simon Bibby, the dad.
Okay, Mike Bibby's dad. Okay.
Yeah, Mike Bibby's dad. Mike Bibby's father was the coach.
I was like, hold on.
I'm sorry,
Mike Bibbies.
Mike Bibby, sorry. Mike Bibby's dad was the coach because I was attracted to California and being in LA, the whole, you got to look at it,
you can't ignore it.
I was looking at Pepperdine because of you in Malibu Beach, but I'm like, I used to surf. I like surfing when we lived in Spain. Boogie board, skateboard,
that makes sense.
Let the hang loose, Quicksilver O'Neal. So I did all that, and I still enjoy it a lot. And but I just be distracted. So it was USC, Xavier at the time. David West was there, at the time. It was a pretty good player, really good player, obviously.
Really
he took it way farther than me. And then Xavier, USC. University of Oklahoma. I really liked Texas State because of Coach Dickey at the time. But once I visited the University of Oklahoma, Kelvin Sampson was the coach. He's the current University of Houston head coach, and we stayed in touch ever since. And once I met him and his level of energy and passion, and he was close to being crazy about his passion.
I heard that.
And I ate that up. And I'm like, that's what I need.
I'm about to say, you live for that.
Yeah, so I'm like, if I'm gonna, leave my family to chase my dream, I need somebody who's gonna squeeze it out of me in case I don't want to squeeze it out of myself.
That is amazing.
And so,
great perspective.
Yeah, I came from JuCo, and JuCo, we got a $60 shoe allowance for the shoes, so I had to work. So I was working anytime I could go to the event center to earn money to buy my own gear for the team.
Right.
There was no free. I still have my junior college jersey at home hanging. I still have my letters here on the wall from my coach that they wrote about to my dad. So and my mom. So it was University of Oklahoma because of Coach Sampson and his staff, and it was just his energy. And I came for senior night. So Eduardo Najero's senior night, they were playing in Missouri,
Yep.
and
That was
that was a Sweet 16 year.
yes.
They lost to Purdue when Purdue had Brian
That
Cardinal.
was a great year.
It was a great year.
For OU.
I think that was the year when actually UConn won it with Rip Hamilton,
Yes.
Richard Hamilton, Khalid El-Amin, Vauxhall.
That was a great team.
Yeah, that was a great March Madness.
Yeah.
That was a great, I remember. And I committed to OU because then Coach Sampson, after the Sweet 16 loss, actually flew. The next day, he flew straight to me. I guess at the time it was such a priority.
Right.
You know, I don't know. I didn't think about recruiting like that. I called a lot of the coaches. Pretty much every coach that recruited me heavily, I called him back.
Yeah.
I really liked Creighton at the time, too, the Blue Jays, because of Dana Altman, who's at University of Oregon.
Yeah.
So he used to come down quite a bit. It was Eves. And I mean, at the time, looking back, it was crazy because
That's funny because Creighton was the university that that placed me at my junior college in Dodge City in Kansas.
Oh, wow. Yeah, Dodge City. Oh, yeah.
That's why I went.
Dodge City, Garden City. Yeah.
Garden City,
Oh, yeah.
Seward.
That's Seward County. Oh, yeah. Barron County. Yeah.
You know, Barton.
Oh, yeah. That was some powerhouse.
Cowley.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so Creighton University placed me at my junior college, and I was supposed to play in junior college there and then transfer to Creighton. Now, you know, just like you didn't know the recruiting process, I didn't know the recruiting process. And so after high school, I didn't get recruited for 2 years out of high school. And so in that 2 years, I started junior college back home, but I wasn't playing. But I was taking full-time classes. I was a full-time student.
So you stayed on top of your academics.
So, well, that was supposed to be the case. I didn't stay on top of my, because I didn't have the motivation. Basketball was always what drove me.
Understood.
So the long story short, when you start college full-time, your NCAA clock starts. And so once I had done 2 years of college before I went to junior college, Creighton didn't know that. So once I was in junior college, they realized that. Then that's when they stopped contacting me. And you know how it is from there. It's like, I only had 1 year to play Division I after I played junior college for 1 year. So that's when I was like, I had to make a decision between going Division II or playing that 1 year in Division I. But, you know, back to what you were saying, it's just funny how you were being recruited by Creighton and, you know, I almost went to Creighton. I was so eager. I was so ready to go to Creighton. Fun fact, my wife played basketball and she played in, I was fortunate enough that any school that wanted me, you know, she was a good basketball player, but they were willing to have her on the women's team because they wanted me, you know, so she could have played in different colleges, but she came where I went. And so when I was getting ready to go to Creighton, when I thought I was going to go to Creighton, they were like, well, we don't know if she's good enough to play at this level, but there are plenty of schools in Nebraska, and we're connected to the schools in Nebraska, and we're willing to help her get to one of the colleges near Creighton. That was the process. And so anyways, you know, it just brings back memories, man.
Oh, no, for sure.
These are things that I suppress because you know, just things don't always work out how you plan.
No doubt.
Right?
No doubt.
So
it's like, I think it goes back to what you say. A lot of the people today, like, they want it so pre-planned.
Right.
You know, it's not. You just gotta take it ESEMED every second, every minute, every day. You just gotta take it. You know, it's just you gotta be now.
Yeah. Hashtag.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
hashtag the crap.
And I got that from Mike Turpin. My father-in-law works in Mike Turpin. He's a lawyer up in the city, but Mike is a great speaker, and he always says, you know, he's a super high energy guy. He's always into the next thing, and he always says that like every second, every minute, every day. And I'm like, exactly. Yeah. You know, it's just like every rep, every set, every day, every week, every month, every year, decade, century, millennium, forever and ever. The dog dies, whatever. I mean, just
stay in the moment.
Yeah, I mean, just you can't be anywhere else.
Yeah, I mean, that's The Last Dance just finished airing with Michael Jordan. I don't know if you watched that.
I haven't had a chance, but I heard a lot of good things.
But I'm not going to ruin it. But one of the greatest things that the show highlighted about Michael Jordan was the fact that he was able to stay in the present at all times, which is why he was so great.
Oh, I think that's a skill.
That's a skill, bro.
That's a skill that's developed for sure. You can't, you know, even though he had a lot of distractions he could have been thinking about, but he's just that mental, you know, that's why I always call it like AMP, appropriate mental and physical progression.
Exactly.
I mean,
man, you got all the acronyms.
Well, no, I've been coaching for a while. So
yeah, I love it, man. I love it. So
University of Oklahoma.
University of Oklahoma. So you didn't know the recruiting process, so you called back every school, but Samson came to you the very next day after
The loss.
the tournament loss.
Yeah.
And then is that when you committed?
Pretty much. It was kind of like a
purple?
Jerry Maguire moment when Jerry says, "You had me a hello."
Yeah.
Because Kelvin, Coach Sampson, came in and he started drawing on his whiteboard. And he was wearing his classic blue shirt, and the tie came up, and he transpired. He was full sweat, perspired through, was going crazy, and I was just sitting there going, "We're good." I mean, I'm
there.
I'm going to University of Oklahoma, and also my junior college coach always told me, he gave me the best advice. Again, Coach Rumpf, he said, "You don't owe them anything. Everybody here is doing their job. Obviously, have common courtesy, and you have to look out what's in your best interest, who you think is going to represent your best interest."
Right.
So I didn't come here necessarily. I figured University of Oklahoma is going to be a good school. My number one goal was to play basketball and go to the NBA. It's still at that point, that was it.
Right.
Like that was, my only sole purpose to come to the U.S. and leave my life back home and all my friends was to go to the league.
So when I was checking you out on Google, it looked like you only played 1 year at OU. Is that accurate?
So I redshirted 1 year because I tore my ACL.
Okay.
Then I came back, tore my other ACL. And then I played 2 years. So played the 2001-2002 year, the Final Four year,
Right.
and the 2002-2003 year when we went to the Elite Eight. And actually at the time we lost to Carmelo and them when he was at Syracuse. Yeah.
So how integral were you as a part of those teams coming off injury? Were you a big part? Or
So the Final Four year, I was starting in March.
Yeah.
And so I earned my starting spot by the year of March after 2 ACLs.
Wow.
I didn't really.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so I was really blue collar. Again, like, no, you're not gonna outwork me, type of mentality,
Absolutely, yeah.
And come on in, you know what I mean. And then so the thing is with that, I wasn't worried about minutes. I wanted to play, and
Right.
It turned out to be. Again, that kind of became one of those deals where the coach, it was one of those deals for the betterment of the team. I got taken out of the starting five because the guy who I beat out, he wasn't mentally tough enough to come off the bench and produce.
Right.
So I just got put back to a fourth big man instead of.
Because you were adaptable easily.
I was adaptable. I earned it. It was very painful at the time. Because we were going into the March Madness and Big 12 tournament. We won the Big 12 tournament 3 years in a row. That was going to be the second one. But I rolled with it. And it is what it is. Even after 2 ACLs, and I was on, many meds just to be able to walk because I was hurting in many places.
Wow.
But.
So then, when did you try to go to the NBA, and when did you realize that you weren't going to make it to the NBA?
Great question. So I played professional after college. I was in Switzerland. And I actually just talked to my coach that I haven't talked to in 14 years from the team. We won the Swiss championship my first year. I won a championship, the pros.
Oh,
and it was great in Switzerland. And then I played in Hungary after that. We finished second in the country, which was, we should have won the last game. I think, not to be one of our import players, he choked it up. He should have performed much better. Anyhow.
Yeah.
And my third year, I played in Switzerland again. Then we finished third. So it was like a decline: first place, second place, third place.
Was the decline you? Was it your fault?
No, I didn't have a good agent.
Players?
I didn't have a good agent. I never had an agent. So like even my Swiss gig, my third year was one of my teammates, Slaven Smiljanic, a Croatian teammate of mine who got me that gig in Fribourg Olympic. My wife and me were living in Switzerland. And then after that year, I was waiting around. I had a gig in Spain for a month-long contract that I got. Then I had an opportunity to play in Pro A in France, Orléans, where I got hurt from a deep thigh bruise. So I was fired like 4 days later because
Right.
you just chopped me.
They don't want to waste money.
So I had to go back home to Hungary, rehab, and then I came to the ABA actually with Bob Huffman, who's at Mercer. And now he's at Oklahoma Christian, or Bob Hoffman used to be
I
with
heard
us.
the name, yeah.
But anyhow, I played in ABA, and then it was actually that summer, so that was 2004 summer, is when I called Coach Sampson. That's what I was my best. I was not hurting. I didn't have to take any painkillers like I was in college. And I was in the best shape. I was priming, like the 27, 28.
Oh yeah.
You're still on top of the
you
world,
at the top of your game.
I still had all the answers, like now I'm not young enough to know everything anymore, like I got way more questions now. But
yeah.
so then I called Coach Sampson and I said, "Hey Coach, I need to try out for the league." And he called the Dallas, and they called me the next day, and I flew in like a week.
The Mavericks?
The Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah.
And I flew in to try out for the Summer League squad. And there was, unfortunately, 7 big men. They were only taking 4. I had no agent other than Kelvin Sampson making a call.
Right.
And I was one of his guys. And, I stuck. I played. I ran the drills and everything. I was there for a day and a half, and they cut me. And I went back, and then I was like, okay, obviously, this is not something that's going to happen right now. But I never even talking about it right now. I'm not in any regretful situation where for what I went through, again, physically, I had many other injuries in college that, the list is endless on things that are broken or fractured or whatever. So
was that attributable to your style of play, or was it just
I'm sure it
accidents?
It was the broken foot. I broke my fibula twice before I came to the States.
Good Lord.
But a lot of that stuff was freak accidents, and then later a lot of those things became part of my play. Like from broken noses to like root canals to broken teeth. Because I was running into elbows or elbowing somebody else. It was a different style of game.
Do
So
you remember that game we were playing in where that dude drove to the paint and somehow he came out of there with a bloody nose?
Oh yeah, I know.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh!
Because it was one of those one-on-one situations, and when you play pickup ball, sometimes they isolate you.
Yeah.
And I just gotta send a message sometimes. I'm going for the ball, but
I'm not the guy you isolate.
I'm like, we're not gonna isolate. I will foul you one time really hard.
Yeah.
And I will help you up, and we're not gonna play the isolation game.
For sure.
You might be faster than me and younger, but we're just not gonna isolate the old guy who's not as fast maybe anymore. So
you need Yo-Yo on your team. Don't play against Yo-Yo.
I know. But that's always been the deal. So I'm just
So basically, one shot at the league with Dallas Mavericks. It didn't go well, and you kind of walked away from there.
So then from there, that was the summer of 2004. That's when after that I went to Spain, because after Switzerland, my wife decided to go back to get her master's.
Okay.
So she moved to Lubbock, Texas, from Switzerland. So that was a culture shock. From diversity-wise to we're in Lubbock, Texas. Okay.
Right.
And so that's where I trained that summer, and that's where I met Benny Wiley, who's the head strength coach actually at OU, and who later hired me as a strength coach with Texas Tech football that 2004 December after the ABA thing didn't work out. So I had my stunt in Spain, France, back home, ABA, and then in Switzerland before, the spring, the 2004 spring, and then 2004 by December, I got a job offer to be a strength and conditioning coach with Texas Tech football at the time. So
did you feel like a traitor at all?
Like a what?
Did you feel like a traitor when you went to Texas Tech?
No.
No?
I was...
I just got to check because that
No,
OU
understood.
DNA runs deep is what I've heard.
Yeah, but I have a story for OU too. Yeah. We can wander into that one. We had a sour ending, let's put it that way,
Oh, man.
So it's all right, 2009. 2014. You can look it up. So
2014. What happened in 2014?
NCAA violation is what they fired me for. So
you worked at OU too.
Absolutely. So in 2009, June, I got hired with Jeff Capel, Coach Capel, who's at Pittsburgh now, and I was a strength and conditioning coach for men's basketball, and then eventually became the strength coach for men's basketball, women's basketball, and men's tennis. Okay, but that was the NCAA. Yeah, that was the NCAA. That was the NCAA violation that I committed. Okay, and I still don't regret to this day because I was not happy in my work environment. Okay, I'm gonna leave it at that.
Right.
I felt that, it was just running into walls right and left. I couldn't work as much as I can. I had nothing to do. So I really liked working with the kids. I had great kids that I work with. I still enjoy, obviously, because I've been coaching ever since.
Right.
That's why my own spot with my wife, and was planning to get out.
This here.
Yeah, gym integrity. But it's Yo-Yo's Gym LLC doing business as Gym Integrity, but that's besides the point. However, that the best part of that, the firing, is that mentally I grew so much. I was already tough mentally, but when you're on what they call themselves family,
Right.
and all that for you to fire you for something that
What was the violation though? What did you?
$100. I gave $100 to a couple of my players, and I mean we're not gonna I mean again we can get into things later.
I mean
I can tell you, but again now. And based on everything that I knew and all that, I kept my integrity. I didn't say anything about anything.
Right.
I signed all the papers. I left it alone, walk away. I was for sure, I would think the bigger person. They fired me a week before Christmas as an alumni. Didn't get no deal. I barely got my paid sick leave that I earned, So I couldn't get health insurance for my kids and my wife starting January. So it was a very bad wait
right.
for alumni. My picture still hangs there. I'm on the Final Four team. The only 3 Big 12 tournaments OU ever won, I was on all 3 of them.
No doubt.
So it just kind of it was a huge growing experience. Not to mention my father-in-law was a Board of Regents there. My wife is an OU graduate. She was in the national championship football team.
Wow.
So if you think we are OU DNA, okay, we are OU DNA. So that's when. But that was an eye-opener. I'm like, that's how you're going to treat your
family.
Yeah, so you got to be real careful when you use that word family. It's so carelessly used, I think, in huddles. Like, to build a family, you got to be able to speak your mind and be able to handle what somebody tells you, but that somebody also has got to be a person that also has integrity, have gone through challenges in life, that you respect them, they've earned their respect through hard work. So there's a lot that goes into the word family. It's so loosely used, I think, anymore.
Right.
That, so.
I understand that giving money is a violation, but what was the, like if a player is hungry, you're feeding a player, or if a player, like certain things should not be regarded as such. But I'm not going to get into that.
No.
I don't know
Listen, the booster gave me the money. I could have kept the money. The booster wouldn't have known about it, and the kids wouldn't have known about it.
Right.
But, again, integrity, I don't need the money.
Right.
I've been an athlete before. Okay? So that's it. I was an athlete. It was, it's nice to call home on a calling card.
Yeah.
That's all. It's nice to call your family.
Right.
So a lot of people don't get, a lot of people have this scoot or like the athletes are being taken care of. I'm like, we are practicing at the time. Coach Sampson was, our record was 7 hours of film together, okay, after a loss. I clearly remember because we drove back from Lubbock in a blizzard because we couldn't fly after that. And we got off the bus, said, go to school, see your film at 2 in the afternoon, and we were there till 9 at night.
Oh, my
We watched game film 3 times. The ESPN copy, the Sooner copy, and our copy silently. So we had all.
Oh my gosh!
Oh no, Coach Sampson was. I haven't met anybody like him on the work.
Mike Neal played for him, and Mike Neal told me. You got to go back and watch the show with Mike Neal because he talks about Coach Sampson some too, and so that's. But he loves it after the fact. He didn't like it then.
Oh.
But he said Coach Sampson brought out of him something that made him become. An even better player, better shooter. And so,
we had nobody go to the NBA from the Final Four team.
How that
okay,
happened?
And not to, Ace, Aaron McGee was Portsmouth MVP. Portsmouth Invitational MVP. To tell you who won that year was Maryland, right? Steve Blake, Chris Wilcox, Lonnie Baxter, Juan Dixon. We beat that team by 25 here 3 months earlier.
Why
so
did
we were
go to the NBA. What's that about?
Because we were a good team.
Coach,
we had great pieces.
You didn't have any individuals.
When we said we lost 1 game at home in 3 years, we didn't lose many games. We didn't tolerate
losing.
Well, we worked too hard to just give up.
Yeah.
Like our Big 12 tournament game, I think my senior year, I think it was senior year, the final, we won 45-43. It was the ugliest game you'll see was a bloody murder.
That sounds,
We didn't.
that sounds ugly.
Yo, we didn't score a field goal for 8 minutes and we won by
Oh
2.
my goodness.
Okay, because if we couldn't score,
That means they can't score.
we just locked you down.
Yeah.
But if we could score, we're still locking you down. We beat you by 30
Right.
or 40.
Right.
So it was just a different mentality. When we said we were the hardest working team in America,
It was
we
no
fully
joke.
we fully embraced that and believed that. We had 2 days during season, 5 a.m. practice, afternoon practice, and game next day, Big 12. This is in February, before March Madness. That wasn't like unheard of. That's not something unusual with Coach Sampson.
Right.
So for us, the game was a cakewalk because we knew it was only going to last 40 minutes. Like, we only got 20 minutes. We got a TV timeout every 4 minutes. That's 2.5 minutes long. We get to rest. You get to do your thing. I'm like,
That's a cakewalk.
let's just go and do our job and let's work together. So.
Whenever I got to start playing in those games with TV timeouts,
Oh yeah.
I was like, I'm not even really getting a chance to get tired because every 4 minutes, you know, if the game is up and down, it's a different story. But, you know, I personally wasn't a fan of TV timeouts, you know, but, you know, I get it. You got to pay the bills. So, last thing I want to ask you, what message do you have for future international players that want to come to the States to play basketball or pursue the dream of playing in the NBA?
I mean, I think it's the same as I tell the kids here. If you're good, they will find you. This is 2020.
2020.
Okay, so your chances of getting found, I got found in 2000 in Northeastern Junior College in Colorado, Sterling, before Instagram, before Twitter, before barely email just started, cell phones barely, Facebook. It was MySpace, okay? I didn't even have MySpace, all right? I mean, I still have my Hotmail email, okay?
Yeah, no doubt.
I still have my Hotmail account so it's you having your goal in mind and whatever you're doing, however you think ordinary, that exercise or whatever you're doing, do that ordinary thing extraordinarily well. I mean, simple things is be on time. Even if you have your own goals. Like, if you need somebody to hold you accountable all the time, be on time. Say, please, say thank you. You might not have a weight room this nice. You might have a weight room who's much better than this. You might not have anything. I had nothing, you know, even if my parents wanted to pay for it. It's like, you had nothing in Haiti. There was no conditions like this, you know, in the United States. You know, so a lot of people get here and they get comfortable. And the comfort always creates a monster. That's why I do my workout still. Like, I want to be uncomfortable. I'm not working out to be comfortable.
No lie. I walk in the gym. It is pitch black in here. And Yo-Yo is full sweat. And he's in here pulling himself up to about 12 feet off the ground. And I'm sitting there like, this dude's a monster. I'm just so glad he's on my team.
Nah. Well, I mean, you know, and that's the big thing I always, you know, we tell our kids is and a lot of the international kids come from different backgrounds, obviously. But the opportunity in the States is so vast that's why I guess so I said with kids who are grown here, I'm like, you got to there's so much, and not to take advantage the wrong way, but to take advantage the proper way and appreciate, be grateful and appreciate of the opportunity that you have, even back home, whatever that opportunity is, you know, and then you come here and all of a sudden it's even better, but you just can't forget where you came from, and then, you know, just work with abandonment. I mean, just try to put your heart, you know, put your heart and mind into it. They all have to be in sync. I always tell my kids when they start, sync your mind and body. Don't sync your phone, sync your mind and body.
That's right.
We got to be present, you know, we got to be present. As my wife always says, be present and be pleasant.
Be present and be pleasant. That's
you know,
awesome,
don't
man.
be a good person.
Be present, be pleasant.
ESEMED. Every
Yes,
second,
sir.
every minute, every day.
Man, Yo-Yo, you dropped gems today, man, and I'm so glad you let me come through. And, you know, I hope everybody gets a chance to see this because there are a lot of players now that are trying to play basketball outside of the U.S., and I think your story will resonate well with plenty of people. Plenty of people, even those that are already here, you know, and they're looking for that guidance, they're looking for that direction, they're looking for that motivation. I think they'll find it in this episode, and I appreciate you, man. And
yeah, and to go along, I'm sorry to say with that,
yeah.
I came with an exchange program that wasn't not athletic related.
Right.
Now you have all this athletically related. It's become a business a little bit.
Right. They're recruiting.
But it's
They're
guided.
recruiting
So if
international
you're
players.
good, they'll find you.
They will.
They will find you.
They will.
Okay, let your word do the talking.
Let your work do the talking. Absolutely, man. Well, thank you for hanging out with us as we drop gems
Thank
that
you
we
very much.
picked up in this gym. See you next time.
Thank you very much for listening. Wish the best.
Peace.
Peace.